Morning, everyone. Today is Friday, so it's time for the typical long, boring commute video podcasts. And again, I say video lightly because, especially this one, it's just, the whole thing is just going to be in the dark. I'm driving to work even earlier, so it's not going to be light out during this commute. So again, treat this like a podcast. I put it under the podcast playlist under my, my YouTube section, so people know. But anyway, so what is there to talk about? What happened this week? I mean, nothing really. Next week is a big week because we all get paid by the Yield Max funds on Monday. So hopefully this weekend we'll see it in our account as pending, which is a good feeling. And then we can all, if you don't have drip set, you can take that cash and do what you want with it, right? Which, it brings up a good point, which I'm actually curious now. I assume most of you own Yield Max funds. What are you doing with these funds? Are you dripping? Are you manually reinvesting? Or are you using these towards your bills? I would love to use some of it towards my bills just to feel some success here. Feel like this is working. Because sometimes you need those small wins, or even use it just to buy something for the family, or something like that. But I know anything I do like that will slow my early retirement down, so I'm trying to avoid that and just keep all the money in the account. So, my plan next week on Monday is the cash will go into the account and it will sit there, and I will try to not make any drastic purchases, although my SVOL and SPYI, I'm actually finally down. My overall average is in the red. So it's a buying opportunity for me to buy either one of them or both. So actually hold on. There you go. I don't know if you heard that buzzing, but it was the auxiliary. So yeah, my plan for next week, Yield Max Monday, is cash in the account and average down on everything. Again, I would like to lift up my share count on SPYI and SVOL, because I do really like those funds, which, I'd love to do more content on those as well, because I don't think they get enough love, because they both pay a respectable yield and provide a little more safety than what we're used to with the Yield Max funds. So, which brings up another point, risk tolerance with these funds, mainly, pertaining to Yield Max, and of course, Defiance as well. What is your risk tolerance? I'm driving down this one single road, of course, car behind me with freaking brights on, or what seems to be the brights. Very, very annoying and distracting for my podcast. Doesn't he know I'm doing a car podcast? Anyway, what the hell was I saying? So what is your risk tolerance? If you don't have a risk tolerance, these funds are gonna be painful, because as you can see, like Netflix, I bought in, I'll say early on in the fund, and then the underlying Netflix took a massive shit. So, and I've been averaging down, keep that in mind too, but I'm down 10%. My capital is down 10%, but it's not affecting me because my plan is still the same, and that's to average down on every single fund where I'm in the red. Obviously within a respectable allocation for each fund, but the goal is the same. So, and if I believe, again, do you believe in the underlying fund? Do you believe in Netflix? Do you believe in Tesla? Do you believe in Apple? Coinbase? If you do, then it's just like buying the stock, in general, except it's just a, slight difference. That is, you're getting income in return of the limited upside risk. So it's, just consider it that. But if you don't really have a risk tolerance, then you probably just want to buy the SCHDs or, just the blue chip stocks in general, because they have a more, not only a longer track record, but, just more of what you're used to. Or if you buy SCHD, that's a fund that buys into certain companies that have to meet a qualification, right? When you buy into Tesla, you're buying into not only an options ETF, but obviously Tesla, which could go any direction, any day, at any point. And that's because, Tesla's it's a crazy company. I mean, they have changed the game for sure. And, so you have that, you have Elon Musk on Twitter, or on X, whatever the hell you call it. So he could say one thing, and then that could actually move the stock. Or the government could just do something that affects electric cars for the good or the bad, and that makes the stock move too. So that's the thing, and that's the whole point. That's why these have implied volatility, because the volume is substantial on these stocks. But in return for that, that's why the options premium will pay a decent penny. Again, when I sold Apple paid a very, very low distribution yield, and it was I kind of just thought that was going to be it, because in my mind, Apple is a safe company, so it's really never going to be that volatile. And then obviously last month they proved, this month I saw the declaration proved me wrong. So they're more volatile, than I thought. So, but if you obviously, to me, I would rather own Apple than Tesla, like outright, because mainly because I know more about Apple. I use all their products. I don't use any Tesla products, so I don't really know, how good they are. Obviously I see, as I'm driving now, like I see so many Teslas, so that to me is like success for them, right? From say like 5 years ago, it wasn't like that. You see a Tesla, it's like, oh shit, that's a nice car. And now you see a Tesla, it's like, okay, whatever. It's like seeing a Ford, But yeah, so if I had the choice to own Apple or Tesla, same yield, I would probably own Apple. I'm not gonna lie. But again, I feel, but when it comes down to like Tesla or Coney, I choose Tesla because Tesla over crypto. It all depends on the underlying and your risk tolerance. And my risk tolerance is very high. I'm willing. As you can see, I took money, essentially all of my money, out of the Roth IRAs, and I put it into a taxable account to buy, in particular, only high-yielding stocks. And the reason for that is I want to produce high-yield income, like now. And then I want to take that income and I want to buy more high-yield stocks. And I want to do that repetitively with, the income from the ETFs, the high-yielding ETFs, and I want to put new money in every week. As you know, I put $250 per week in addition to whatever I get in the distributions, aka dividends, etc., whatever. So, yeah, that's me personally. So the 10% dip on Netflix, it's not affecting me. Obviously I'd rather it be green, but realistically, I understand how these funds work, and I understand how the market's been lately, and it's been red. These stocks have been down. My normal portfolios, are down, right? My 401k is down. So I'm not going to expect that, they're going to earn so much in options premium that, it's going to be up. Now, it'll be good. Now, I understand how the fund works. It goes down with the stock. So if stock goes down, it's down. Most of the premium, if not all, gets paid out anyway. So just treat the price of the ETF essentially like, the underlying stock minus, some jumps that they can't sustain because they have a limit. They sell calls for 5 to 15%. I say that in quotations because when you look at Tesla, they do not do that. But if they did, again, these are weekly calls though, so 5 to 15% out of the money on weekly calls, let's be realistic, we probably wouldn't get a lot of premium. They're doing like 2 to 3% out of the money calls, and they're getting good premium, but it is very stressful. And it's stressful, well, as you guys know, I track the trades daily, so I feel the pain on every trade. I'm like, oh my God, that's close. And then I feel like they get even closer every day. But it turns out they do pretty good, but there's going to come a time where it'll bite them in the ass, and it's going to hurt us in the ass. But, so far so good, as of late at least. So, but again, that's part of the game. Because, Tesla is down to what, $13 per share? And it's been there for forever. So is it going to go up? Maybe. Tesla's been kind of, sitting put, moving up and down, up and down, up and down. So hopefully, well, we do have earnings on October 18th after hours, which I think that's Monday. I'm not sure. But that's gonna be good for implied volatility. So when they I assume they're gonna roll. Okay, here's some sirens. It'll probably look cool in the video, but I assume they're gonna roll into next week. Obviously, they're gonna. If not, they'll. What the hell is going on? That was weird. There's like 3 cars and a Jeep just sitting, looking around in the woods. So I don't know what that is. But anyway. Getting off track again. Here we go. Jesus. These commute videos are not easy. So what the hell was I saying? Tesla earnings, right? Their earnings is coming up, and it could be really good or really bad. What do we hope for? What do I hope for? I hope it's okay and it doesn't do anything, honestly. Or it does a little better than people thought, then Tesla stock will gradually go up, because I'd love to be in the green with Tesla. As you know, it's my highest position. I own about 60% in my taxable account to Tesla, and I want that to be a much, much lower position. In fact, at some point, I want it to be 5%. But I don't plan on selling out. But if Tesla does hit the high 14s or 15s plus, I'm going to sell some calls with my shares. I have 1,600 shares, so that's 16 contracts I could play around with, which is, to me, great. That's a lot of contracts, so I can make a lot of money. However, right now my average is 15 flat, just about. So, and they're in the 13 range. So selling a call at 15, I'd probably get 5 cents if I'm lucky per share, which is $5 per contract. Which, right now it's not worth it to me, especially in between earnings, and especially within range of this synthetic expiring. So once earnings are over and the synthetic is redone to, I guess they do it 6 months out, then my plan is to, sell calls, again, assuming Tesla is at the high 14 or 15 plus range. Because, again, that's additional income on your money. Right now, it's just not worth it to me. I don't, 5 cents a share for that much risk is just not worth it. Oh my God, this fucking truck. People cannot drive, man. I just swear to God. Literally, like this gigantic box truck pulls onto a main road without stopping. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. So we got that going on. We got people looking in the woods. Every commute is a new adventure. But I'm sure you guys know that. A lot of you, you people that listen to this video, this podcast, you're in your car typically. So I'm sure you're dealing with the same crap. Which, by the way, just leave a comment below. What's your commute? How long is it? How many days a week and how long for one way? And if it's I'll say 45 minutes plus. Mine's an hour, but if it's 45 minutes plus, why do you do it? Is it worth it? Is there not anything closer, or do you like the peace in the car? To me, I used to do this 5 days a week, and I did it because this really was the only job I could find that would pay decent. Then they went to 4 days a week, work from home one day, and then COVID happened, and then I was working from home 5 days a week. And then, they decide, okay, let's go in 2 days a week. So here we are. I go in 2 days a week, and I stay home 3. So although it's an hour, it's still doable. And I know I just got completely off track. But, so yeah, that's my plan. That's my risk tolerance. That's, what the near future, nothing has changed. My goal is my goal. And by the way, someone was asking me, I was curious about your YouTube, which I'll update. I'll make a video on that too, how I'm doing because if any of you guys are YouTubers as well, small YouTubers, or plan to be YouTubers, and you're wondering if it's worth your time to money wise, I guess that depends. I mean, I just recently started making money, and I'll say I'm averaging $20 a day, which I know, it's kind of like a joke, right? But I'm sure in time, that's going to go up. I have days of $12. I have, my first day I think was $5. So, and I was honestly happy. I was like, wow, it's pretty good. And then I had a $55 day. I was like, damn. And then, then I got the spreadsheet out. I'm like, oh crap, if this keeps up, this much increase. And then, reality set in, and I had a $12 day the day after. I'm like, okay, maybe this is going to be a little more challenging. So I'm not going to have my hopes up on my YouTube income. I'm still going to keep the eye on the prize with my my distribution that's coming in monthly from the Yield Max and the other funds. So, but this certainly, well, right now it's just going to go to bills, but it's certainly going to help. And I will update you guys if you are curious, how much you can make on YouTube, because I was always curious. Because as most of you know, I had a channel for like 5 years. I just haven't really done much. In the beginning, I did a lot, but those videos were, honestly, I thought they were pretty damn good, and I did a lot of research, but they weren't popular. People don't care. I did one on Social Security benefits and how it works and how it compares to you versus investing on your own. And honestly, I busted my ass for that video, and I got almost no views. And it, shit like that, it's kind of like just a downer, man. It's like, oh man. But then you realize, if you think about it, if I tried to have a conversation about Social Security with the everyday person, they're gonna fall asleep. They're gonna be like, I don't care, and because they're just, it's not a popular topic. But if I tell someone you can make 60% annually on this fund, their eyes are gonna open and they're gonna listen. So I get it, but I can't make videos on that if I don't believe in it. And now I do, because obviously they have funds that can make it without it being, a yield trap, as they call it. Obviously, like a normal stock company, if they're paying 60% yields, I ain't going near that. But if you see a fund that pays you what they make in options premium, and they pay 60%, and that's what they can make, or a little less, then okay, that I could do. And then obviously that's why I kind of changed my tune, because I was set it and forget it. I was retirement account. I was earning 2 to 4% yield, and I was going to retire in 20 to 30 years, right? And I was just okay with that. I wasn't really okay with it, but it is the way it is. And then once these came out, I looked into them, and being an options person, I understand the possibilities of how much money you can earn. If you have the time, like if I didn't have a job, I'd be doing these options on my own. I can't do them right now because I have a job, I have a family, I just don't have time. So I had to break away from the options world, and then I saw these came out, and I'm like, oh wait, I could pay someone to do the options for me on the stocks that I choose. This is freaking brilliant. It's amazing. Like, it's the greatest thing, honestly, I've found since I got involved with the stock market. And again, I understand it's risky. I get it. And I know why the haters hate, because they don't really fully understand the fund. So they're trying to jumping to conclusions, which is fine. First time I heard about Tesla, I'm like, yeah, okay, I ain't touching that. And then, I heard about it again. I'm like, you know what? Let me just look. And then I took a stab at it, and I bought a few. And then I kept reading about it, and I'm like, all right, let me. And then I made a video on it, and then, I don't know, it stuck, and I was like, wow. And the more, then I watched some interviews with Jay Petricelli, if that's his name, who's the fund manager, and he does great interviews, by the way, and he got me hooked. And you can tell he's a no BS guy, and he knows his shit. You can typically tell a con man when you see one or hear one, but he's just a normal guy, and that's what I wanted to hear. That's what I wanted to see, and that's why I'm doing what I'm doing, and that's why when I hear another high yield ETF, or I will look into it. I'm not gonna just be like, oh, that's a scam, that's a Ponzi scheme, that's a yield trap. No, I'm gonna look into it. I'm gonna research it, and of course now I have to do a video on it. So which it gives me more incentive to do the research. I'm like a prospectus master now. I know where to look on the prospectus. I know. I do hate reading, though. I will say that. But I do, I'm good at, I'll say, pinpointing at least the important things that we care about. But yeah, that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. And the last thing, I know this is, I'm all over the place, and I apologize. I had no agenda today. But I did want to just mention to you guys, my long-term strategy, which I kind of mentioned in an earlier video this week. And that's, I'm not going to own YieldMax funds. I'm not going to own covered call ETFs for the rest of my life. I will definitely have a portion of them in my fund, not 100%, So at some point, in maybe 4 to 5 years, once I hit closer to my goals, maybe sooner, I'm going to start adding, the lower yielding, safer growth, either ETF or stocks. Which, by the way, before I got into this, I was always against ETFs. And the reason was, I'm not paying this guy this percent when I could just do the research by myself. And that was always my argument. Obviously, the options, I'll pay someone to do it. But now, I just found this fund. Well, someone mentioned it to my Discord because they wanted me to do a video on it, which I will do. It's called Cows. And this fund, I've looked up on them already. I read the prospectus. They only buy dividend-paying stocks that have enough cash flow to support their dividend, and they, for now and into the future. And also, they have dividend growth. So basically, it's free cash flow yield. Anything that has a free cash flow yield that's high, and pays a dividend and has a track record of increasing the dividend. And I'm like, okay, because that stuff, it's kind of, very, very time consuming. And something like that, okay, if they have free cash flow that could support the dividend and they increase their dividend, yeah, that's a winner. And this just came out in September. So to me, like, this is an ETF I would buy when I get to closer to my goal. They don't have a yield yet, of course. If I was to guess, it's going to be 3%, which, you hear 3% now, you're like, what the hell? So I'm not going to buy into it now because I'm nowhere near my goal. So I need to be aggressive. I need to have a high risk tolerance. I need to buy, not more Tesla, but I'll buy more Coney. I'm going to buy SQY. I'm going to buy JEPY, JEPY. I'm going to buy QQQY, right? But the reason is I want income now, right? And then I'm not using the income now, but I'm going to reinvest that income and then have produce more income. So this does a lot of things. I want you guys to keep that. This is just for me, though. You may feel the same, but because I know I get all these comments. You got to have this in a Roth. This only makes sense in a Roth. I mean, what about the taxes? Okay, if it's in a Roth, number one, to me, it means nothing. It means, okay, I'll have it at retirement. And I have enough accounts for that. My 401k, my wife's 401k, that's for that. I know I can't touch that until 59 and a half. But when I moved this to a taxable, the feeling I got when I got paid, even though I didn't use the money, but the fact that I knew that I could, the feeling was so much more amazing versus it being trapped in a Roth. Because I did start, when I bought Tesla, I did start in a Roth. And I got the Tesla payment, and I was like, okay. But once I changed my strategy, oh, you can see me now, see? It's not light out, but I'm at a light. But, what the hell was I saying? The feeling of, even though I'm not using it, the fact that it's in a taxable account, I could take it out at any point in time or use the monthly income at any point in time. It's just a great feeling, right? It shows, it gives you like the thought that, okay, right now, could I tell my wife that she doesn't have to work because I'll use that money, I'll have it directly deposited into my bank account. Yeah, I can't reinvest, but guess what? My wife can stay home with the kids. She can be happy. And I don't have to run around doing everything. Because we both work full time. So obviously it would make life easier on both of us. So that's always there. That's not there when the money's in the Roth. Because at 59 and a half, I mean, what the hell? I'm 41, she's younger. So it's like, come on, man. That's why I pay tax. I don't care. I know I pay taxes on it. It is what it is. The taxes are bullshit. I know. I mean, where does the money go? Who the hell knows, right? Tax this, tax that. We're taxed a million times. Tax is another problem in itself. So I can't be worried that I'm paying taxes on all, the income that I'm making. If I think that way, then I'm going to be 59 and a half with money. Yes, I'll have a lot of money, 59 and a half. But what about now? What about my lifestyle now? Like, how am I how is this going to be enjoyable? I'm just going to invest everything into a retirement account and use what's left over to pay bills and just get by? No. Those days are over. Jesus. These freaking sewers, man. But yeah, so I just wanted to explain that is my plan. I'm not going to always invest in covered call ETFs, but right now I'm 100% in covered call ETFs. Well, some are puts, some are selling puts, but you get the point. And the reason is I want to retire early, or at the very least, I want to have a better lifestyle. I want to have another cushion, because again, at some point, maybe I'll just say, okay, I'll finish out, I'll work till whatever, and then I'll just stop. I'll say, okay, I'm going to use $1,000 out of this money per month, and we're going to do whatever. We're going to do something for the house, right? Or we'll add it up to a vacation fund, or, I have options, these options that don't exist when they're in the Roth. So I hope you guys get what I'm saying, about this. But that's why I'm in the Roth. That's why I'm out of the Roth and in a taxable. Again, I know taxes. Yes, taxes. You have to pay taxes on everything. You get the money, you get taxed, obviously. You buy something, you get taxed again. And that person gets taxed on your money, and so on and so forth. So the tax is just bullshit. You can't avoid it. It is what it is. And like I said, although it's in a Roth, you don't know what the government's going to do 20 years down the road. They could come up with some crap. Oh, if you have a Roth, but if you make more than this much per year, we're going to tax you a little on the earnings. I would not put that past them. You know what I mean? Because depending on who's in office, that could happen. But yeah, anyway, this is a pretty long car commute video. I'm actually almost at work. So I guess I got nothing left to say. If you guys are still watching or listening, I should say, that's amazing, and I do appreciate it. If you do enjoy the car podcast, again, please let me know, because I always feel like, someone said to me yesterday, oh, I'm looking forward to the car podcast tomorrow. And I was like, really? Because I always, these videos don't get as much love as the other ones. Although, they get a respectable amount. So I always feel like, it's not, people don't actually watch it. But it seems like people do. And again, I think it's probably the commuters. But the point I was saying is, if you guys actually like the car podcast, not only let me know in the comments, but let me know what topics, because sometimes, like today, I didn't have an agenda. I just started yapping, and then I kind of forgot what I was doing, half the commute, because of all this crap going on. But yeah, let me know. I'll talk about whatever, unless it involves research, and obviously that's a separate video itself. But like topics in general, about money, about life, about work, about commuting, doesn't matter to me. About lifting, I love lifting, I love exercising, jogging, etc. Intermittent fasting, I can talk about that all day too. I can talk about, sports is okay. I'm slowly gearing away. Sports is like, okay. I used to be obsessed. Now I moved on to investing and other things that matter more so than, caring about sports as much. I still watch it, but yeah, any topic is an option. So again, because if you're commuting, listening to this, then this is your video. So all right, I'll stop rambling. I don't think I gave financial advice, but if I did, this is not financial advice. Okay, I'm not a financial advisor. This video is for fun and entertainment, and yeah, as you know. But thanks for watching, and I will see you or talk to you later. Bye.